Hello, good morning, guys. Welcome to my live video. Welcome. I hope you're all doing great. Happy Friday to you. Today, we're going to be discussing an exciting topic as usual. Drop me some comments once you get on live. Let me know where you're watching from, how everything is going. Welcome again to this live video. If you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to like and follow my page, AK Poku Law. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and put up your notification button. Okay, so guys, today we're going to be talking about Afghanistan's, just more help for them, how we can assist them, and some guidelines on how to stay safe. So this morning, news actually broke that the Taliban are saying that they are going to be doing executions in Afghanistan, like they're going to be doing punishment, strict punishments and executions. So that's very scary for anybody that's living there. And what is our interest in this? Our interest is pretty straightforward. We've been helping tons of Afghanistans, consulting with them, seeing how we can help them file humanitarian parole for their families back in Afghanistan. And, I've had some here in my office break down. It's a really, really sad situation, weep tears because it's very difficult to actually have your family members back there with this situation going on. So let me share a part of today's breaking news concerning Afghanistan, and then we'll be going through, tips on how to stay safe, how to go into hiding, just everything to help you stay safe out there in Afghanistan for those of you there. So one of the founders of the Taliban and chief enforcer of its harsh interpretation of Islamic law said that they are going to carry out executions and amputations of hands, but this time they're not going to be carrying it out in public. So long story short, let me give a background. The Taliban took over the rule of Afghanistan and they are killing people and whatnot. I've done some videos on that. So for those of you who need more background, you can check those out. So basically that in the past, when the Taliban punished people in public, it was done at the stadium. But now they said there are going to be very strict punishments for people who go against their rules. They have really strict rules about women, how women should behave, and who should go to school, who should go to work, and whatnot. So there's going to be very, very, more killings, more amputations, and it's disheartening. So that's the background. And now let's go into the guideline tips on how to hide out, how to try to evacuate, because the point is that we're filing humanitarian parole documents for these people, but how do they evacuate from Afghanistan? It's important that once you have an approved humanitarian parole document, you stay safe in order to have it implemented, in order to be able to enter the U.S. safely and then stay for 365 days and then try to adjust your status from there. So it's in our interest to make sure that you're not only getting an approved advanced parole document through your humanitarian parole application, but also staying safe, because there's no point in ending up dead and having, an approved humanitarian parole. So that's the connection. Okay. So let me share this screen about guidelines. So we're going to be sharing it. Let me see right here. Yes. Guidelines for going into hiding. I guess you guys can implement this if you need it in your personal life. So this very useful information is being shared by Human Rights First, and they've been advocating for, trying to get people evacuated and extending the evacuation date from August 31st, the date that was imposed by President Joe Biden, trying to extend it because there are still tons of allies, U.S. allies in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan people who need help, that need to be evacuated from the country. Okay, so here are the guidelines. So okay, yeah, so this is a caveat. Okay, so activists are best suited to actually assess their own risk. Okay, and then you have to make informed decisions about your own safety. These are just guidelines. You don't have to go by them. So I mean, clearly, if somebody is holding a gun to your head. You need to exercise caution in the way you respond to it. You don't necessarily have to follow this, but these are just helpful guidelines. So you in the situation have to make, an informed decision about your own safety and what will be appropriate in one setting over the other. Okay, so that's it. You are not being advised that you should try to escape the country or go into hiding. Again, these are decisions that activists themselves have to make given the situation at hand. Okay, so here are the guidelines on safe houses and how to hide. Okay, so there's another note here that we understand that not everyone has the same opportunities to access safe spaces, either alone or through staying with families or friends. Yes, local considerations and personal circumstances clearly will vary widely. So these should guide activists' actions more than generalized advice. Again, just make sure that the move you are making is appropriate in your circumstance. So this is just a guideline. Okay, so this list is for those considering going into hiding. It's based on the Human Rights First experience with working with activists on the run in a range of contexts and on the expert advice of others. Okay, so there'll be more updates coming up. Hold on, let me scroll down to the actual tips. Yep, we have it right here. Plan ahead. That's the first big heading. Plan ahead. What you should do, the first strategy is that you need to plan ahead. So number one, you need to understand where you're going. Of course, planning is essential to staying safe. You don't just open a door with a big hole and jump into it, not knowing there's, a lion or, some animals there. You need to stay safe. You need to know where you are going. You open the door, shed some light, and make sure that it's a safe space before you jump into it. So you need to scout your potential location with, of course, digital maps. Understand the resources you will and won't have and where you'll be able to get food, water, and other supplies. So the thing is that we're at the age of the digital, right? So it's important that you have, digital resources to be able to have the world at your fingertips and to be able to access information quickly, as quickly as possible. So if a friend or driver is helping you, you need to arrange a meeting point away from your home. Okay, so try to arrange meeting points away from your home. That's the second tip. The third is that you need to develop a believable backstory for you and your family. Decide how much information you want to hide from them. Do you want to adopt a new identity, or you just want to keep secret that you have a human rights background? So, of course, the people who are being targeted are the activists who have been advocating for human rights. So, in as much as you want to develop a believable backstory, your story needs to be as close to the truth as possible so that it's not entirely, it's not entirely something that you have to struggle to remember and to keep repeating if you're asked. So the fourth tip, I believe, practice your story to yourself. Say it in the mirror, say it to those with you. Get your brains used to saying your story out loud, because people are going to be questioned. And, depending on what the Taliban want to hear or not, that could be chaotic for the people involved. So have a plan for you and your family if you are questioned, including scripting out who will say what. Yes, have a plan. It's all part of planning ahead. Everybody should have what they should say, anticipate and preempt what they're going to be asking you. Okay, include details in your story to make it convincing about why you are at this location. You have to be consistent with your details and your overall story. This is really a matter of life and death. So yes, you need strategies to stay alive, and all these things are things that you need to go over, think about, and rehearse in order to make sure that you are making the best decision possible and saying the things that will keep you alive. Okay. Will you be okay? So have a plan for what yes, you need to have a plan for what your family and friends will say if they are asked about where you are. And then you need to know if you're going to be near health facilities to be able to get medical care when the need arises. Guys, drop me your comments and your questions. I'll be reading them very soon. Drop me some emojis. Let me know where you're connecting from. How is the feeling? I hope you guys are doing great. Guys, interact with me. Don't leave me sitting here all alone. Okay, so I just scroll down. Okay, right here. Let's get back to the grind. Okay, so you need to develop a plan for if you have to leave your safe house. Okay, suddenly have an idea of where you will go to next and how you will get there. So some people have the humanitarian parole approved, and what they do next is to actually get an e-visa. Some countries are offering e-visas. So I actually sent out a list of countries offering e-visas to one of my clients yesterday. Some of the countries offering e-visas are, I would have to pull it up, but I think Germany, Pakistan, Zambia, you know, a number of them. And so let me see if I can pull that up. So if you have a valid travel document, that's helpful. Again, the humanitarian parole is also helpful in actually trying to evacuate. Once you have that approved, it may be helpful in your evacuation effort out of Afghanistan. Okay. Yes, I don't know why I'm so drawn to the Afghanistan story and trying to help them as much as possible, but I am certainly drawn to it. Let me see. Okay, yeah, right here. I found the country of e-visas that I sent. So there's Kyrgyzstan, there's Qatar, there's India, Djibouti, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Zambia, Gabon, Benin, Zimbabwe, Sao Tome and Principe, Lesotho, Australia, Antigua and Barbuda, the Saint Kitts and Nevis, Suriname. So those are some of the countries that are offering e-visas if you have an Afghanistan passport. Not everybody has this, but if you do, that's that. Okay, so find out if your real identity is required to buy a train, bus, flight ticket, and how this might compromise your anonymity. You're trying to stay, you know, there's another document on how to hide your identity and to delete your digital tracks from online. So I might go into that some other time, but just be careful with, you know, trying to use your identity. Is it needed? If it is, what are the implications of that? Second major plan is to blend in. Abnormal behaviors, of course, do stand out. Don't do anything that will draw attention of your neighbors or government forces. So, I mean, don't, of course, take a PA system and then go out in the street saying the Taliban, you know, I'm going to kill them. They are wicked. Or, I mean, just nothing of the sort. Don't do anything abnormal. Just try to blend in with everybody else. If everybody's wearing black with their, you know, hijab, do that. Just try to blend in with everybody, no abnormal behaviors. Then minimize the number of encounters you're likely to have with those who might question you. So try to avoid people who are going to try to question you. Just minimize encounters. If you know that, if you use, okay, so there's also a map that was released that shows the, you know, the borders of Afghanistan and where the Taliban have actually mounted security. I reviewed that some of the airports, like the Kabul airports, like they are there. Some of the land borders, they have actually, you know, surrounded the place. So you need to be careful. If you have this map and you're trying to strategize an exit, you need to actually use a route where the Taliban are not, haven't mounted that security. Okay. Guys, let me know you guys are, you know, enjoying the video and, you know, getting some real help out of it. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing. Vary your daily routine and be prepared. Okay, yeah. That's one of the rules of life, like vary your daily routine. That helps you to, you know, you don't have to be so predictable sometimes, you know. So if you have to leave, for example, to buy food, change the times and routes. Well, route is in French, so, and routes you take in American English. Having a predictable routine is more likely to get you noticed. So every single day at 10 a.m., you want to get out to go and buy food somewhere, you know, at a particular place. Not too smart. Okay, so please, not too smart at the moment, of course. I mean, in normal life, that's fine. But at the moment, you want to do 10 a.m., you want to do 3 p.m., you want to do 2 a.m., and you want to buy food one day and then wait for some days before you step out again or whatever. So just try to vary these types of things. Try to keep stock of supplies in case your neighbor is suddenly full of security for your neighborhood is suddenly full of security forces and you can't leave for many days. So Preempt these things. Keep a stock of supplies handy, your food, your water, your tea roll, whatever that you think your family will need. Then next thing is consider ways in which you may unintentionally reveal your location. Number one, if it's possible, before you depart your new location, buy a new phone, a new SIM card, or have someone buy them for you, of course, with cash, not with credit card. I know many of the people have been complaining that their monies are all gone because banks are closed and yeah. So follow our guide for thwarting digital surveillance to bolster. Yeah, I might share this also in the link. In the video link. Hopefully that will help. When you go to bed at night or when your phone is not in use, consider putting it into a storage bag, and that will block signals from reaching it. Okay, wrapping it in aluminum foil can work. So the point is you don't want to be traceable. I don't know how they do it, but they're able to track people using devices. So that's a trick, using aluminum foil to make sure that you block all signals. Put it into a storage bag. Don't put it next to you and then they, put on a tracking device and, they're able to trace you and right there into your bed and then they catch you. So that's something to note also. So those are ways in which you can minimize revealing where you are. Okay, so let's go down here. Oh, that's almost the end. This is the final part of the guidelines. So guys, thankfully we're at the end. Okay, so good locations to safe houses include those with many ways in and out, and it gives you more choices if you have to suddenly leave. Okay, so you need to have a safe house. And what is a safe house? You don't need a house with just one window and one door. Many ways in and many ways out. Maybe there's some hidden alley in a basement or some window where you can jump through, extra doors, a back door, a bathroom door, a garage door. All those places are good options of, safe houses. It's a good location for a safe house. And then where you can see who's approaching from far away. You should be able to see, not in an obscure place where you're surrounded by a forest where you don't even know who can pounce up on you next. You need to be in a place or a location where you can see down the road, up the road, or all the sides of the road who is coming. Okay, and then where you have little or no personal connection. So avoid places where there's a lease in your name or in your family's name. So yeah, try to avoid places where you can be easily identified and picked up. So try to stay as anonymous as possible as the situation will allow you. Guys, so these are some of the guidelines for our people who are in Afghanistan. If you have family in Afghanistan and you're here in the US and you're looking to file humanitarian parole, we're handling it for people. So please reach out to my office, 802-7800-564, and then, book your consult, and then I'll speak to you and see what the best help we can give you is, because you certainly can't petition for your family who are in Afghanistan while here in the United States. Okay. So let's read some comments. Salifu Isa Lufthansa says, good morning. Keep up the good work. Is it advisable to do a B2 visa extension a week before it expires? Yes, it is. You normally should do it. The recommended time to do an extension, that's the I-589 or I-539. I always mix it up with the asylum. But yeah, the extension I-539, you should do it normally 45 days before the expiration of your B2 visa. That's the recommended time. However, life happens and sometimes you will not know that you need to file an extension 45 days before it actually happens. So you file it as soon as the situation that prompts you or requires an extension happens. As soon as you find out about the situation, then you need to file an extension of your B2 visa. Okay, so just make sure. And one other thing is that, yes, I-539, absolutely right. I-539 and asylum is I-589. So I-539. So remember that you need an extension for each 6-month period of visa that you have. I've done some videos also on extensions, so you may want to check that out for some more help. All right, friends. So it was nice coming your way this Friday. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a great weekend. representing immigrants all around the United States, in all 50 states, and we handle all types of U.S. immigration law matters. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.